All right. All right, everybody, welcome in to the Rant with me, Pugs Moran, coming to you every day, Monday through Friday, round about 12 p.m. from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E-Gallery here in Dallas's Design District. You can follow us, you can find us, you can explore all the other things that we do around here at radiomisfits.com or coming soon, Radio Misfits Dallas. Still working on that. Got plans. Well, it's here. I mean, we right here. This is live from the Kelly Moore Studios. Is Radio Misfits Dallas. Additions and all that coming soon. As soon as we can figure out what we're doing. All right, welcome in, everybody. What is this show? It is it's a rant. It is a stream of consciousness rant performed by yours truly on all the day's hot topics, current events, news, history, whatever it is that you need to know about this day, October the 3rd. I'm going to give it to you here in the next 2 hours. As I say, performed as a stream of consciousness rant. What is that? That's just I hit go and I start talking. No breaks, no commercials, no songs. Just me for at least the next 2 hours trying to, inform. I don't know if I'm trying to inform. Just talking with you, hanging out. Join the chat room. Chat room's a fun place. We got a lot of regulars in there. Let's say hi to some of the folks in the chat room. First and foremost, say hi to Byron. Byron's got a dual role. He is not only the first person that I thanked today in the chat room, but in addition to such work as being a chat room regular, Byron is also today's executive producer. Thank you so much to Byron. Executive producers are the people who tip the show the biggest the day before. Yesterday, Pledge Week. This is not good. We got no tips. We got no tips during the show, but I noticed Byron got in before the show, so thank you. Thank you for that. No tips. No tips during the show. Pledge Week. How do we explain this? Well, we don't do advertising and we don't have any kind of outside support. So the show for 3 years now has been running off of your gratuities. If you appreciate this kind of talk radio, what kind of talk radio is this? It's not political and it's not sports. It's basically what you cannot get on the radio. Talk radio in America on the radio is nothing but politics or sports. We try to do something different. Lifestyle talk, regular people talk, the way talk radio was done for years and years, to great success, I might add, until the radio business got so small that they decided, we don't want everybody. Let's just get everybody of one kind. Sports dorks and people who vote Republican. Quite frankly, that's the only kind of talk radio that you're allowed to have. Sports talk or conservative Republican, pro-Republican talk. So that's not fair. Because look, here's how I feel about politics. Don't like it. Hate it. Hate politicians in general, but really have a disdain for people who brand themselves by their political party. Like that's your number one thing. Like, you know the people I'm talking about. Like people who still in 2024 are putting lawn signs out. They don't see anything wrong with that. Vote Trump, Vance. Vance? Yeah. Vote Trump, Vance. Harris, Waltz, whatever. Why are you people stirring the pot? You know these are incredibly divisive times. Nobody gives a shit how you're voting. Stop it. Anyway, those people are not allowed to listen. Other kinds of people I don't want listening to this show. How about people who have been banned from Thanksgiving? If your family doesn't want you at Thanksgiving anymore, I don't want you tuning in here. And I certainly don't want you tipping. Well, I'll take tips from people who've been banned from Thanksgiving, actually. Any port in a storm, as we're trying to keep this show afloat for another month. Other people who are banned from this show, if you've gone viral for getting kicked off an airplane, get out of here. No, you're not allowed here. Fighting in a Target? Have you been arrested for getting into a fight in a Target or a Walmart or something like that? Yeah, I don't want you here. What's the other one? We added a new one recently. I don't remember. All right. Anyway, if you do want to help and contribute to the show, or if you just have an interest in being tomorrow's executive producer, like today's executive producer, Byron, please help the show out. We've got 2 shows left. It's like we need like $200 or something like that to keep the show going. And it's probably not going to get there. Another month. We're not going to get there. The struggles for honest talk continue. Hey, I want to have a little small talk conversation with you here, a conversation that I had with somebody last night. And I'm wondering, I'm a little torn. So here's the question. It's simple. By the way, this is small talk. This precedes the 4 quarters that actually make up the show. 4 quarters are antecedently on this day. We do that first. We go through history. Second quarter is birthdays. Hey, people were born today. Are they cool? Do they suck? Quarter 3 is deads. People died today. They go to heaven or hell. And then quarter 4 is all the other stuff. All the important stuff comes to you in quarter 4. The stuff that pertains to this particular edition of October the 3rd. Small talk. Here we go. Small talk. What is the better decade? Think about this, chat room. I'm seeing some people who are making up a couple of different age demographics and generations here in the chat room. What is the better decade? This is not an argument because I didn't really have an opinion. I was going back and forth on both. Maybe you guys can help me. What's the better decade? The 1980s or the 1990s? Think about it. Because I initially went, the 80s are way better than the 90s. And then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, no, I was a dumb kid in the 80s. The 90s, I could actually do stuff. I don't know. Anyway, there's just a little something I threw out to you. Okay, so Peter says the 80s. Why? Like, why are the 80s better than the 90s? I think I'm biased towards the 80s. Simply because I was more innocent and young and everything was more interesting. And maybe that's right when I started to become aware of the world, in the 1980s. But I got to be honest, the 90s, I think, were better. I had way more fun in the 90s. Are you supposed to have more fun in your 90s than you are in your, growing up or teens, young teens? I don't know. Marty says the 90s. The hell is going on? A commercial? I'm not supposed to have commercials. Helping your business look professional in any inbox. By the way, can we point this out about YouTube commercials lately? Since when did they start going to like 1 minute? Remember, they used to be like 5 seconds and you can skip. Now all of a sudden it's like 1 minute at a time. Is that because they know I'm going to have the static American flag behind me? Why do you have the American flag if you're not political? I would counter with, how is the American flag political, you son of a bitch? You divisive jerk. The American flag, I'm an American. I love America. I'm a moderate patriot. How about that? I'm a dead center in the middle thinking some of you people on the left are insane and some of you people on the right are insane. I'm right in the middle and I love the American flag. Taking it back for normal people. Normal people should be allowed to celebrate the flag without people going, oh, look, another person exploiting the flag. There we go. All right, there we go. Here we go. Another person exploiting the flag right here, folks. Peter says the 70s were my teen years, so they were pretty good as well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember much of the 70s. I was very little in the 70s. I remember cars looked funny. I remember, we mentioned this last week. I remembered fire hydrants were painted red, white, and blue in the 70s. Well, let's not, please, don't be this guy. The question was simple, 80s or 90s? Peter, my guy, I love you. We don't need to introduce the 70s in here. Jameson says, in many ways, the 90s actually perfected the 80s. Okay, I mean, we could have that conversation. Here's what I would say about the 80s. What happened in the 1980s was that there was a pendulum swing away from the attitudes of the 1960s. We became, well, for lack of a better word, we became a greedy people in the 1980s. The 1980s is when the hippies grew up to become yuppies and they decided that they wanted fancy summer homes. And the whole sort of idea of what a happy American family looked like took a drastic change in the 1980s. TV shows. What were the biggest TV shows of the 80s? Dallas and Dynasty and, all of these, I hasten to call them aspirational. They're not aspirational, but they are a depiction of a style of life, of wealth that sort of became the goal for every American. Like every American decided that they wanted to live like an oil heir in the 1980s, and anything less was considered a failure. So, I mean, that's my take on the 80s. Culturally speaking, I enjoyed the 80s because I was young and I was, very open to new things and whatever was happening. I appreciate the 90s resistance to the excess and abject greed of the 80s. That's what the 90s were to me. That's what I mean. Just if you look at music alone, and that's probably an easy way to have this conversation. The 80s. Look at what the big bands of the 80s were. They were all these like weird, over the top, excessive. Look at how we waste money. Look at our jets. Look at our groupies. Look at our fancy hotel rooms. We're trashing hotel rooms. That was sort of the rock attitude of the 1980s. The Sunset Strip bands, the Motley Crues, woo, millions of dollars. Just we're blowing it because we're rich and we're stupid. And then came grunge, which was like the exact opposite of that. Kurt Cobain living under a viaduct, in Washington State, wearing dirty clothes, not trying to impress anyone. So that was sort of an attitude shift from the 80s, from the gratuitous consumption of 80s consumerism. There was sort of a pushback in the 90s. I like that. But then also we had the boy bands and the girl bands and the excessive pop. So I'm not going to say that music completely changed the tone. I don't know. I think 90s. I got to be honest with you. Adam Reyna says, listening to Freakonomics podcast that said that consumer and grind culture really got going in the 1950s. Adam listening to boring Freakonomics. Ugh, that sounds boring. But then again, so does the Rant with me. So, who knows? Barney says there was a reverence for the elitist excesses in the 1980s. There sure was. Yeah, and there still is. You're voting for one of those guys, Barney. you're voting for the poster boy of 80s elite excess. But hey. Peter says the Sunset Strip bands were way better back then. I don't know if any of you guys caught. I think it's on maybe Paramount Plus or something. But it's the new documentary that was it's like a 4-part docu-series called Don't Need Nothing But a Good Time. The story of the Sunset Strip bands. That's what it's called. Seriously. And that's how you should say it when you suggest it to friends. You should go to your friend and you should say, hey, did you see the new Paramount Plus series? Don't need nothing. See, you got to sing it. Sunset Strip bands were way fun back then, Peter says. Yeah, so that reminded me of that documentary. It's on Paramount. It's pretty good. I mean, it's entertaining. I don't know if it's... I'll tell you what, I watched some of it with my 15-year-old, and he wasn't interested at all. He just thought, he was like, yeah, no, Dad, I'm good. This seems very stupid. I got my kid. My kid knows what the good 80s bands were, okay? My kid knows about The Clash, right? My kid knows about Guns N' Roses. My kid knows about The Cure. He knows about the good bands. He knows about the Police. He knows about the good bands. He knows about Metallica. He knows about the good bands from the 80s. He doesn't have any time for Motley Crue, although he does love Kickstart My Heart. That's one of his pump-up songs. So there was a scene in that documentary, Don't Need Nothing But a Good Time. There was a scene in that documentary where some like 80s dude who's still got the 80s haircut, except now he's 70, It's like that bad look. Well, I guess if you're going to make money for the last 40 years playing like, carnival festivals in small town USA, you're going to want to maintain the look, I guess. People are showing up in the Walmart parking lot to see, Wasp. They want to see the Wasp haircuts from the 1980s, I guess. But anyway, one of these dudes he looks into the camera and he goes, because everybody knows the best era of rock and roll was the 1980 Sunset Strip. And I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. That is not even close to being the best era of rock. You're a fucking moron. Everybody knows. Man, we had Warrant and we had Poison and oh, shut up. There's no difference. To me, honestly, there is no difference between half of those bands. I put Motley Crue in a different category. I also put like Quiet Riot and Iron Maiden in a slightly different category. But everything after Motley Crue, don't give me your Poisons and your Warrants and your Bullet Boys and your Wingers. Stop it. Stop it. There is no difference between the mass production of those kinds of bands. There's no difference between that and what we saw in the late 90s with the mass production of boy bands. For every NSYNC, there's a Backstreet Boys, there's an NSYNC, there's a Due West, there's an Oaktown, an O-Town, whatever. It's the same damn thing. The record companies got involved and said, let's just replicate what succeeded initially. The 80s are the best. That was the best era for rock and roll. Shut up, dummy. Sit down. No, it wasn't. I don't know. I think maybe the 1960s London scene might have been pretty good for rock and roll. I think the New York punk rock scene of the 1970s might have been pretty good for rock and roll. I think the Seattle grunge scene might have been pretty good for rock and roll. And yeah, I do think that there is a conversation to be had about the bands that came out of the Sunset Strip. But to just defiantly declare them the best of all time, get the fuck. What about the Hollywood Hills scene of the 1960s and 70s? Come on, man. Anyway, it was good. It's entertaining. My 15-year-old didn't like it, but it was entertaining. So it's called Don't Need Nothing But a Good Time. There you go. And it's on Paramount Plus. All right, let's get started with today's show. What do you say? That'll conclude small talk for today. Let's get into the quarters and let's tell you what's happening in the world today. It is the Rant for the 3rd day of October, year of our Lord, 2024. It's Pledge Week. Help out, please. Seriously, 2 days. And I'm like, fuck, we're fucked. We are fucked worse than we've ever been fucked. October 3rd is the 277th day of the year. There are 89 more of these remaining until the end of the year. So enjoy. New Year's Eve, going to be honest before we know it. All right, let's talk about quarter one, antecedently on this day. This is where we take a look at all of the events that have helped shape our understanding of this day and what it has meant throughout history. Here we go. Antecedently on this day, first and foremost, on this day in 1919, the Cincinnati Reds, they trotted out a pitcher named Adolfo Luque. This dude became the very first Latin American player to appear in a World Series game. First Latin American player to appear in a World Series game was on this day in 1919. He'd be the last. It's a shame what has happened to the Latin American ball player in Major League Baseball. Is that a question? That question might be racist, or at least it will be easily construed as racist, but I'm just wondering. Latin American ball players and Asian ball players have proven that the white man can't play baseball. There you go. White man can't play baseball. White man only dominated baseball when the white man only allowed white men to play baseball. That's basically the long and the short of it. Who's the best white guy in baseball? What is that? Because Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, is he still the best white guy in baseball, or has he fallen off the table a little bit? Aaron Judge, not the best way. He's a good hitter, but baseball player, all around baseball player. 5 tools, all that shit. Is there a 5-tool white guy other than Mike Trout? And I don't even know, does Mike Trout still have 5 tools? I don't know. Anyway, there you go. I'm done shitting on white people in baseball. On this day, antecedently in 1952, the United Kingdom successfully tests a nuclear weapon in the Montebello Islands. These are Western Australia. It became the world's third nuclear power. 1952, boy. See, it pays to be our little buddy, pays to be our wingman. We gave him our table scraps. In 1952, that's pretty early. We allowed England to have nukes. We were like, you guys can have them. What was the order there? Who had them? I guess Russia also had them. I guess Russia by 1952 had developed a nuke. So United States, Russia, and England. All right, there you go. Welcome to the nuclear party, England. On this day, antecedently in the year 1990, the German Democratic Republic is abolished and becomes part of the Federal Republic of Germany. Hey, Germany got back together because they knocked the wall down. 1990, the whole world was falling apart. Antecedently on this day in 1995, O.J. Simpson is acquitted of the murder of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. Hey, what? No. 1995, probably the first time when it actually dawned on me that this was all our justice system, everything, our rules, all of it was all just a construct. That at any minute somebody could just go, yeah, nah, not doing it. I know I'm supposed to do it. I know the justice dictates that he's guilty, and you go, buddy, he's got a lot of money and he paid expensive attorneys, and he's going to walk free. And that was some bullshit. OJ was guilty. I mean, come on. You're so brave, Pugs. You're so brave in 2024. Declaring OJ, he got away with murder. OJ Simpson got away with murder. So did Robert Wagner, probably. I'm not going to give that one up. Pretty sure Robert Wagner also, maybe even Christopher Walken. I don't know. I'm just pretty sure that both those guys maybe got away with murder. All right, that's going to do it for Antecedently on this day. Let's move on to quarter two. We call these birthdays. These are people having birthdays, celebrities, if you will. We decide whether or not they're cool enough for a happy birthday. Born on this day in 1941. He's dead, though, so he's not going to hear us. Born on this day in 1941, happy birthday to Chubby Checker. Chubby Checker. Come on, baby. That's it. That's all. Did he do anything else? I got to be honest, in my mind, Chubby Checker and Fats Domino, same person. Same, trying to picture both of them. It's the same picture in my head. Born on this day in 1949, another great. Is he great? I like him. But do I like him because he's great? Or do I like him just because he seems like a cool guy? Anyway, happy birthday. Born on this day in 49, Lindsey Buckingham. He's a good guitar player. I know he's considered a very good guitar player. Fleetwood Mac, Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks. Fleetwood Mac sucked, but they were a band. They were around, and they were doing weird, jazzy, psychedelic, progressive, weird shit that wasn't selling anything. And then they're like, they met this couple, this dude and this chick. They were a couple. They were in a relationship, and they were really good. And I think they opened for them. And that couple, they were called, what were they called? What was the name of that band? They were in a band together. They called themselves something. They didn't call themselves, did they call themselves? Well, okay, let's say Buckingham Nicks. They called themselves Buckingham Nicks. That would make sense. So Mick Fleetwood and John McVie, he met Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks said, well, you guys should join our band. And the minute they joined their band, Fleetwood Mac became huge. So good for them. I always get this wrong. Is it chains? Or there is a performance. It's a famous rock and roll performance. You can find it on YouTube. It is Fleetwood Mac performing, I think it's Chains, which is the lead vocals on Chains are Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks. And at the time of this particular performance, and again, this is on YouTube. You can run around and you can find it. At the time of this particular performance, they were going through a very ugly breakup. They were all sleeping with other people in the band. Like Lindsey Buckingham, I think like Stevie Nicks was sleeping with either John McVie or whatever, but they were still in a relationship. So they got to keep working together. Like, oh, my girlfriend sucks. She's like, oh, my boyfriend's an asshole. And yet they got to keep working together. And there's this performance of them singing this song. And it is one of the most powerful performances because they're screaming at each other on stage. They are really legitimately angry and heartbroken by one another. And they are singing this song. And it is so powerful. So powerful. I think it's Chains. And of course, metaphorically speaking, the chains holding them together was all the money the freaking band was making. So they had to keep doing this. Anyway, it's really cool. Born on this day in 1949. Happy birthday, Lindsey Buckingham. Born on this day in 1954, Al Sharpton. Fuck that guy. Al Sharpton is the reason that I will not watch MSNBC. I was never a big MSNBC fan because they are so... Look, to be fair, I never watch Fox. I don't watch Fox. I don't watch MSNBC. Those two have declared what they are, and I'm like, no, thank you. But MSNBC really lost me when they hired Al Sharpton. That's when they went over the credibility cliff for me. I know who Al Sharpton is. I'm old enough to remember what he did. I'm old enough to remember doing a study in college on the Tawana Brawley situation, which was a situation that Al Sharpton became a national name by being the guy who was, accusing New York City police and all of this stuff of raping and abusing and beating. It was completely made up. It was a sham. It was exposed as a sham. Al Sharpton at the time was exposed as a con man with a criminal history and all of that shit. He was a garbage, race-baiting, divisive son of a bitch. He was bad for America. And 10 years later, MSNBC gives him a talk show, and now we're all supposed to pretend like this fucking guy isn't a monster. And that's what Al Sharpton is. But, those crazies on the left, like, no, he's not. I'm like, no, he is. You need to be honest about what he is. I can be honest about what Tucker Carlson is. You need to be honest about what Al Sharpton is. Stop it. Anyway, that's why I don't watch. So fuck you, Al Sharpton. I don't give a shit if it's your birthday. Al Sharpton, born on this day in 1954. Born on this day in 1954, sharing a birthday, umbilical cousins, if you will, with Al Sharpton. The late, great Stevie Ray Vaughan. Dallas's own Stevie Ray Vaughan, right? Right? And I know he's an Austin guy. Nah, I think he's from here. I think he's from like the Oak Cliff area. Born on this day in 1962. Here's an idiot. Here's another idiot. I'm going to say happy birthday because he seems like a harmless idiot. No, I take that back. That's right. I changed my opinion on him. I changed my opinion on him after seeing that Hulu series, Pam and Tommy. Happy birthday, Tommy Lee. Speaking of Motley Crue, I always liked Tommy Lee until Sebastian Stan's portrayal of Tommy Lee in the Hulu show, Pam and Tommy. He was a dick. He portrayed Tommy Lee in his normal life, dealing with groundskeepers and waitresses, normal. Sebastian Stan depicted Tommy Lee as a fucking righteous asshole. Just a total jerk to people. So fuck Tommy Lee. Here's the other thing about Tommy Lee. Oh, this reminds me. Okay, so yeah, this is kind of the same thing. Do you guys remember? Of course you did. I'm going to pretend no, I never saw it. The Pam and Tommy sex tape. Of course you saw it. Shut up, stop pretending you didn't. Of course you saw it. The thing that I enjoyed most about that 20-year-old Pam and Tommy sex tape wasn't the sex. I don't care. Porn, who cares? It was the conversations between Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee. The real conversations between Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee. I remember Kelly and I, my former partner Kelly, I remember her and I doing a table read of the transcript. We had probably Eric or Sybil transcribe, and we did a table read as Pam and Tommy. And just the shit they talked about. Just the shit that was interesting to them. Just the shit that they sort of bonded over. They're fucking morons. They're complete idiots. And it was the funniest damn thing. Every other word out of Pam, I love you, Tommy. I love you, Pammy. Here was their conversation. Hey, Pammy, you're so fucking hot. This is not during sex. This is making breakfast. This is just them. Pam, you're so fucking hot. Oh, Tommy, no, you're so fucking hot. Oh, babe, I can't wait what I'm gonna do to you. Oh, Tom. They're fucking idiots. Just fucking idiots. So anyway, this reminded me of this. So I started watching, I'm going to talk about this at the end of the show. I started watching the Ryan Murphy, it's on Netflix, I think, the Ryan Murphy, Aaron Hernandez show. He's doing, Ryan Murphy does American Horror Story. He did the O.J. Simpson thing, and now he's got a series, and I think it's going to be an anthology. I think every year there's going to be a different, story focused on. But this year the story is American Sports Story. This is Ryan Murphy. American Sports Story, Aaron Hernandez. So I waited a few weeks. I waited for, there to be 4 or 5 episodes so that I could, binge watch a bunch of them because I didn't really want to go episodic. And I started watching it. And I got through all 4 episodes. I only had 4 episodes built up. And I got through all 4 episodes. And I decided, you know what? I want to go back and watch the Aaron Hernandez docuseries that Netflix put out a few years ago. In 2020, there was a really good deep dive 4 1-hour episodes of what exactly went on with the Aaron Hernandez thing. So I just watched the Ryan Murphy portrayal. And so now I'm going back and I'm watching that. The tape recordings. There are so many tape recordings of Aaron Hernandez and his wife talking, or his fiance talking from jail. And then there are all these tapes of Aaron Hernandez and his mom talking when he's in jail. That dude's a fucking idiot too. That dude is a fucking, all of the people in his life are fucking idiots, just like Pam and Tommy. And all you need to do is just eavesdrop on like what it is that they're talking. Like, okay, so he's in jail. He gets 5 minutes a day. He's going to talk to his mom. What's he talking to his mom about? It's just so stupid. It's all dumb shit. Just dumb people. There's so many dumb, none of you. I mean, there isn't a dumb person that would dedicate 2 hours a day to hanging out in a chat room. So not you, but I know you can relate to this. You're so fucking hot, Pam. No, Tommy, you're hot. Fucking hungry. Like everything is just about, I'm hungry, I'm horny. Dumb, fucking emotionally ridiculous people. Eric says, he's watching the Aaron Hernandez show, American Sports Story. Aaron Hernandez says he's watching it on Hulu, and he says, gay? Question mark? And my answer to that would be very, very gay. Ooh, very, very gay. But to be fair, Aaron Hernandez was very fucking gay. That's why Ryan Murphy, who is gay himself and a very prolific television writer, that's why Ryan Murphy wanted to do this story, because he wanted to say, hey, look, gay guy in sports, also crazy killer murderer because he's gay. Now, Aaron Hernandez was definitely gay. That is absolutely, both the documentary series talks about, look, they talk to his boyfriends. His boyfriends are showing up on camera. This Sam Susi kid, who was his high school quarterback. They were gay. They were gay for 4 years together. And he's like, hey, I'm gay. And you know it's true, because the dude who was gay with Aaron Hernandez in high school for 4 years is on this documentary with his dad. His dad's like, yeah, my son came out, and I kind of always thought there was something going on between those two, but it's very gay. It's very gay, but that's okay. That's okay. I fast forward through a lot of the gay, like it's Ryan Murphy. So he's and God love him, he's trying to normalize seeing, dick on TV because he's gay, and he's like, why can you show woman bush on TV but not dude dick? So he's trying to normalize that. So there's a lot of dick. We've seen shower scenes depicted on television and in movies. We've seen movies about sports, and the camera always does a really nice job of not. Ryan Murphy doesn't. Ryan Murphy's just gonna show you all the dicks in the showers. And then there's lots of like make-out scenes between like, shirtless muscle boys and Aaron Hernandez. It's just very... I fast forward through that shit. Not because I'm homophobic. You guys know I've said this every time. I also fast forward through any sort of like heterosexual romantic subplot bullshit. I don't like that stuff. I don't think we need it. But yeah, it's very gay. It's very gay. Ryan Hernandez is making sure that it's a lot of dick, a lot of dudes kissing. But also, I want to talk about this later because I've got hot takes. Oh, the guy who's playing Urban Meyer is hysterical. The guy who's playing Bill Belichick is hysterical. Patrick Schwarzenegger as Tim Tebow. And then all the players. Cam Newton is funny. Oh, it's good. It's pretty good. If you just fast forward through the gay stuff if it bothers you, or fast forward through the romantic subplot stuff if it's not specifically a gay thing, like it is for me. Anyway, it's pretty good. You should check it out. It's fun. Tommy Lee sucks. He was born on this day in 1962. He's really stupid. He's just really dumb. Really a dumb man. Just who never stopped being 15 in his head. Just born on this day in 1969, the lovely and the talented Gwen Stefani, ladies and gentlemen. You know we love Gwen Stefani. All right, here we go. Gwen Stefani's going to kick off today's Kiss, Marry, Kick. That's right. We're going to do a Kiss, Marry, Kick on Gwen Stefani. Gwen Stefani's the first. Let me tell you a little bit about Gwen Stefani. Here you go. Okay, here's our first contestant. Of course, Kiss, Marry, Kick is just my PG version of Fuck, Marry, Kill, made popular by Howard Stern. We will give you 3 people celebrating birthdays today, 3 birthday girls, and we will decide which one we're going to kiss. See, we don't say fuck because that's so gratuitous. Which one we're going to kiss, which one we're going to marry, spend the rest of our life with, and which one we're going to kick to the curb. We're not going to kill them. We're not fucking or killing anybody here. We're going to just dial the temperature down a little. Which one are we going to kiss? Which one are we going to marry? And which one are we going to kick to the curb? Here's Gwen Stefani. I'll tell you a little bit about her. I love her. Look, she's one of my favorite. She's probably my favorite female rock artist of all time. And yeah, I do still consider her a rock artist. I consider her an artist first and foremost. Look at that right there. How cute is Gwen Stefani right there? She just got style. She's got swagger. And she also seems really nice. There you go. That's our first contestant, Gwen Stefani, ladies and gentlemen. Gwen Stefani celebrating a birthday today. Gwen Stefani was born on this day in 1969. Age appropriate for yours truly, Gwen Stefani, our first contestant in Kiss, Marry, Kick. All right, let's do our second contestant. Born on this day in 1973. She was a favorite to a lot about 20 years ago, maybe even later. I used to have a bit of a crush on her. Let's decide. Are we going to kiss, marry, or kick birthday girl Neve Campbell? Neve Campbell. Woo, right? Party of five. Everybody loves Neve Campbell. Let's look at some more Neve Campbells. She dated John Cusack, which immediately loses points for me. She dated Cusack for a period of time, and John Cusack and I, we hate each other. He has blocked me on Twitter because he's a dick. There you have it. Neve Campbell, birthday girl. Born on this day. Did we get to see Neve Campbell? Hold on. Did we see? Yeah, I think we saw Neve Campbell. All right, now let's go to our third one. Born on this day in 1973. Umbilical cousins, if you will, with Neve Campbell. It is the birthday of, hold on. This one's going to be, this one isn't, I don't know if she's as, she's definitely not as famous as Gwen Stefani. Is she more famous than, is she more famous than Neve Campbell? I don't know. I don't know. We are talking, of course, about born on this day in 1973, the beautiful Cersei from Game of Thrones, Lena Headey. Cersei from Game of Thrones. 1973. Okay, we're doing kiss, marry, kick. God, man, I'm sorry. I'm a Game of Thrones guy. And I just, and she's age appropriate. Look at her. She's got arm tats, which means she's got a wild side. Man, I'm sorry, but Lena Headey, Cersei, Queen Cersei from Game of Thrones is a beautiful woman. All right, folks, now we must consider. Here we go. That's kiss, marry, kick. 3 birthday girls. Gwen Stefani, born on this day in 1969. Neve Campbell, born on this day in 1973. And Lena Headey, Cersei from Game of Thrones, born on this day in 1973. April says she's going to kiss Lena. She's going to marry Gwen, and she's going to kick Neve. All right. Barney says he's going to kiss Stefani. He's going to marry Neve Campbell, and he's going to kick Cersei. Al says Neve is hot. Well, they're all hot, man. They are all hot. Really, I mean, if it's just like, I want to be with a hot chick, you can't lose. They're all hot. All right, here, let me weigh in. Let's go through the list. All right, so first, which one do I want to kiss? Well, I kiss all of them. I will kiss all of them. Okay, so there you go. Which one do I want to kick? I don't want to kick Gwen. I don't want to kick Gwen. I don't want to. Come on, you guys. You guys know I like a bitch. You guys know I like a confident, scary bitch. So I don't want to kick Cersei. I don't want to kick. I'm kicking Neve. There we go. All right, I'm kicking Neve Campbell. Now, which one do I want to marry? Do I want to be married to the bitch Cersei, the queen, who's got arm tats, who's probably really fucking cool in real life? Or do I want to be married to Gwen Stefani, who is, I don't know that I could handle being married to Gwen Stefani. She's touring a lot. Everybody likes her. No, and she's not slutty. Like, she's not known to be slutty or anything. As a matter of fact, she's been in a relationship with country dude now for like 20 years, right? So she's not like promiscuous. I don't know. Here's what I'm going to do. All right. I'm ready to weigh in. I'm going to kiss. I'm going to kiss Gwen Stefani. I'm going to kick Neve Campbell. And I am marrying Cersei. Yeah, I'm marrying Lena Headey. She seems cool, man. She's got a British accent. She's got arm tattoos, which means she's cool. There you go. All right, thank you, folks. That's today's Kiss, Marry, Kick with the birthday girls. Who else do we have here? Born on this day. Oh, we could have added this one, but why? Don't want to. I saw it. It was an option, and I went, nope. Ashley Simpson, folks, born on this day in 1984. Ashley Simpson, the less talented Jessica Simpson. Jessica, and I say less talented because, quite frankly, you can consider Jessica Simpson to just be a disposable late 90s, early 2000s bimbo. And, it's kind of what a lot of people do. But Jessica Simpson has a voice. Jessica Simpson can sing. She can really sing. I don't know that Ashley can. And Ashley's not as pretty as her sister. That's terrible to say. I recognize that it's terrible to say. But I'm going to say it anyway. All right, there you go. Happy birthday, Ashley Simpson. You're not as pretty as your sister, nor are you as talented. God, why can't I just say happy birthday and be done with it? Born on this day, this is the last one. Born on this day in 2001, C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud, quarterback, Houston Texans. Because Ohio State quarterbacks suck. We got two in the league right now who are doing pretty good. And we got another one named Joe Burrow, who I know he didn't graduate from Ohio State, but he's technically an Ohio State quarterback for a period of time. Short period of time, didn't play, but still. I remember, I hate doing this, but I was a C.J. Stroud guy over Bryce Young. And I know, that's just a crapshoot. And honestly, it's just because I hate Alabama and I'm a big Big Ten fan. And I also like Ohio State. So I was more familiar with C.J. Stroud. But I would have had it. If I would have taken, how different would Carolina be if they had taken C.J. Stroud over Bryce Young at number one? Probably not much different, man. Probably not much different because honestly, I believe that the quarterback's success has much more to do with the team, especially as a young quarterback. How would Bryce Young have fared if Bryce Young had been down there with Houston? Better? Probably. They're obviously a better team. C.J. Stroud can play, though. Happy birthday, C.J. Stroud. Ohio State quarterbacks can't. Oh, shut up. What kind of, your sports logic is based on voodoo? Like, because that's voodoo. Like, a quarterback can't be good if he goes to Ohio State because Ohio State has never had a good quarterback. Okay, so that's voodoo. That's voodoo. You're saying there's something magical going on that a good quarterback can't go through. Fucking stupid. Shut up. Ohio State can't have a good quarterback. Let's move on. All right, it's time to do deads, folks. These are the people who've died. These are the people who've died. We take a look at folks, notable quotables, important people who've passed away on this day. Oh, we don't need Lena Headey. Why is Lena Headey still? If you're famous and you died on this day, we decide in this moment whether or not you went to heaven or hell. Dead on this day in 1838, the great Black Hawk. He's going to heaven. Yeah, I'm putting Black Hawk in heaven. Talk about Black Hawk all the time. Maybe if you were from where I'm from, you'd have some reverence for the great tribal leader Black Hawk. Black Hawk, of course, the whole reason that we have the Atlanta Hawks, the Chicago Blackhawks, the Black Hawk helicopter, the Black Hawk fighting battalion, the Black Hawk blender, the Black Hawk microwave oven. There's a lot of schools named Black Hawk, a lot of counties named Black Hawk, mostly in Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, Black Hawk territory. Black Hawk was a badass tribal chief. He ruled over his people and they followed him into battle and he won battles. He was cool. That's why the United States military reveres him so greatly. Black Hawk died on this day in 1838. We're going to put him in heaven because Black Hawk's cool. Black Hawk's cool. He's also the reason why, nobody fucks with the Chicago Blackhawks or the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, dumb people do. Dumb people who just want to ban shit that's Indian related. They can't. How come the Blackhawks are allowed? Because it's not the same thing as a Redskin. A Redskin was a name that was widely used as a pejorative. Not all the time. Yeah, okay, fine, not all the time. I'm just telling you on base what the difference is. Redskin was a term used to describe a whole group of people. Therefore, it's a slur. Therefore, there's a case to be made for it to be going away. Shut up. I don't want to relitigate this. All right? But it went away. It's over. Indians, Cleveland Indians. Why did they change their name? Why did they feel they had to? Because, again, Indians is an incorrect statement of the people that the logo of the team is supposed to be symbolizing and representing. Indians was a mistake. They weren't Indians. They were, okay, whatever. I don't want to have it. I don't want to have the conversation. I don't care. I don't really care. But so that's why those things had to go. Why the Chicago Blackhawks don't have to get rid of their giant Black Hawk logo on their chest, or why the Atlanta Hawks, although the Atlanta Hawks have sort of moved steadily into like a bird symbol, right? All right, so the difference is that instead of it being about a whole group of people, the Blackhawks and the Atlanta Hawks and all that, they're named after one person. They are revering one person, which is different than saying, oh, these people are like this. No, one person. They're keeping the heroic memory of one person alive, and that's why they're fine. That's why they're never going to have to go away. Well, how come the Blackhawks don't have to change? Shut up, Cleveland. Shut up, Washington, D.C. You people are dumb. You don't understand the difference. Blackhawk, putting them in heaven. Died on this day in 1838. Dead on this day in 1998, Roddy McDowell. Roddy McDowell was a little English gay guy. He was a gay guy, and he would. I mean, did everybody know Roddy McDowell was gay? I mean, I guess people didn't think in those terms in the 1970s. But I remember as I became older, I'm like, that guy's gay, right? I just always kind of assumed he was. He was one of my favorites, though. He played Cornelius, right, in Planet of the Apes. Oh, I was a big Planet of the Apes kid. I loved anything Planet of the Apes. I used to, like, if there was a Planet of the Apes marathon on like a Saturday, I wasn't going out. I wasn't going out that day. I was going to lay in front of the TV, and I was going to watch all the Planet of the Apes movies. Loved him. Roddy McDowell. Put him in heaven. He was my favorite monkey. Roddy McDowell was my favorite gay monkey. He was awesome. There you go, 1998. Why does it matter that he was gay? Well, thank you for asking. It matters because I think it makes him an even more heroic personality and is one of the reasons why I elevate him to heaven, because he was a star in a time when he was not allowed to be his own self. When he wasn't allowed, he had to hide. So fuck you. That's why I'm putting him in heaven. And why I am making mention of his sexual orientation, because it is important to who he was and what he experienced. Roddy McDowell, little Cornelius the monkey. Was it Cornelius? You guys, I got any other ape heads out there? Any other Planet of the Ape dudes with me? Was it Cornelius? I'm not sure. Anyway, he was cool. Heaven, Roddy McDowell, 1998. Dead on this day in 2004, Janet Leigh. She's going to hell. Yeah. Well, one of the prerequisites is if you're an actress, you already go to hell. And Janet Leigh, who's Janet Leigh? Janet Leigh is Jennifer Jason Leigh's mom? No? Or is she Jamie Lee Curtis's mom? Wait a second. How many? Jamie Lee Curtis. Janet Leigh is Jamie. I'm going with Janet Leigh is Jamie Lee Curtis's mom. Yes. Jamie Lee Curtis's dad is Tony Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis's mom is Janet Leigh. There you go. That's it. She's going to hell, though. She's going to hell. She's an actress. Did Janet Leigh get attacked by birds, or did Janet Leigh get stabbed in the shower? Is she the psycho? She's psycho. Janet Leigh is psycho. The other one is Tippi Hedren. Tippi Hedren. She goes to hell, too. Actresses. Dead on this day in the year 2014. Okay, so let's spend a moment here on this guy, because you'd be like, that guy should go to hell. This is a guy that got like his whole career fucked up. Kevin Metheny is his name. Kevin Metheny died on this day in 2014, and I actually had a meeting with him about 3 weeks or so, 3 months, and it was close. Like, I had a meeting with him and was like still waiting for a call back when he died. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Kevin Metheny was a radio program director. He famous radio program director, above and beyond what he's famous for. Like, he was famous for other things. He did other things. He was actually very accomplished in the business. Around about 2014, at the time of his death, he was at WGN in Chicago. He is famous for being Pig Vomit from the Howard Stern movie. The Howard Stern movie. WNBC. WNBC. The Paul Giamatti character of Pig Vomit was based on not the character, but based on the real person, Kevin Metheny, who was Howard Stern's program director at WNBC. And Howard hated him. Howard hated all program directors. And that movie came out, and it just absolutely, because everybody in radio knew who he was. Howard tried to protect him by, I think, giving him a different name. Like, he gave him a different first name. He didn't call him Kenny. I think he called him something else. And he called him Pig Vomit. He called him Pig Vomit in the movie. In real life, in the actual story of Howard Stern, Kevin Metheny was known as Kenny or Pig Virus, and Howard was trying to be cute. He's like, "Well, we didn't even reference what we called him back then. We called him Pig Vomit. That's different." So whatever. I had a meeting with him. He was at WGN when I moved back to Chicago. I was like, I should probably meet this guy. And I thought he was fine. I thought he was, he was a radio program director. He was nice. He was kind. I came in. It was a first meeting. It was, it wasn't Paul Giamatti from Howard Stern. It was Kevin Metheny, a radio program director who 40 years earlier had gone to war with Howard Stern. Anyway, let's remind you of how he was portrayed. This is the closing credits to Howard Stern's Private Parts, and it features, this is one of my favorite parts in the whole movie, it features Paul Giamatti as Kevin Metheny, who died today, Paul Giamatti as Kevin Metheny, basically explaining how his life has been since working with Howard Stern. So this is, there you go. Let's watch this on Kevin Metheny's anniversary of his death, Pig Vomit, from the Howard Stern movie.
I bear no grudge against Howard Stern. He's been very successful, and God bless him. God bless him. But I'll tell you something, I ain't done too badly myself. I manage a shopping mall down in Florence, Alabama. Yeah, it's the #1 mall in Colbert County. It's #4 in the state, so it's not too bad, I play golf several times a week, But I'll tell you, if Howard would have listened to me, I'd still be up there in radio. Still be doing radio, How about that? That goddamn motherfucker, I tried every fucking thing I could fucking think of to mold him into a proper kind of DJ, but that goddamn son of a bitch. I'll tell you, Howard Stern, man. That motherfucking goddamn degenerate fucking cunt. I'll say that with no shame either. Man's a fucking foul-mouthed immature. The man's immature, He's like a fucking child. I'll tell you this much. There ain't no God while Howard Stern's walking the earth, I'll tell you that. Fuck it, I gotta go. Fucking Howard Stern. How about that? Howard Stern, huh? Fucking Howard Stern can kiss my ass in hell.
All right. Howard Stern can kiss my ass in hell. And that is exactly where you're going, Kevin Metheny, because you're a radio program director, and regardless of the nice little 20-minute meeting you and I shared, you're still a program director, and that is another prerequisite. If a famous program director is mentioned, you're automatically going to hell. Unless your name is Reed Reeker, Bob McNeil, or Mitch Rosen. There you go. Those are the 3 program directors who do not immediately go to hell. My program. I mean, there's other program directors I know that I didn't include in that list, but those are the ones that. Okay. That's it, folks. That's it for birthdays. All right, let's move into quarter 4. Once again, we'd like to thank our executive producer of today's show, the wonderful Byron. Thank you for tipping yesterday. Nobody actually tipped during the show yesterday, and nobody's actually tipped during the show today. So honestly, don't even know if there will be a show tomorrow. That is just not. I hate this time of the month. It is so, well, that's what she said. This is such a difficult time of the month. Also what she said. We're going to move on. Let's get into the top stories today. Thank you, Byron. Who will be tomorrow's executive producer? God only knows. Let's see. The big stories. Let's get into all the hot topics and the trends. What's happening today? All right. So we don't do politics, but we've got to mention it because it is a big story. Trump troubles, we'll call it. Jack Smith. He is refiled. Oh, God, this is so confusing. All right. So back in the summer, the Supreme Court took a look at what Jack Smith was doing and ruled that Trump had immunity against many of the charges that Jack Smith in his January 6th investigation was bringing. So the Supreme Court said, nope, We are not going to, there's too many holes here. We believe, and they decided this in a written decision, that these particular instances are covered by presidential immunity. So Jack Smith went back and he said, okay, I get what you're saying. You're saying I need to be more specific. So he got way more specific and he refiled. And this judge in D.C., a federal judge, is this the Chulkin judge or whatever? I don't know if I'm saying the name correctly, but she yesterday, now this was filed a while ago. This is not new. Jack Smith didn't just, I'm done, and hand it in. I mean, this is something that was, there in the courts, and the courts knew about it. But yesterday, for some reason, Judge Chulkin made it public. She released the documents that hadn't been public until yesterday. She released the document, the new revised document that goes into incredible detail about exactly what Trump is accused of doing. This is a very complicated thing. Now, Trump, for his point, he immediately lost his shit and went nuts, saying the October surprise, don't put anything past the Democrats and all this stuff. And then Trump, of course, blamed the DOJ. The DOJ is another example of Biden's corrupt DOJ trying to steal the election. The DOJ did this. The DOJ didn't do this. The DOJ filed this a long time ago and didn't expect it to be made public. The judge, an autonomous federal judge, not the Department of Justice, released this. So if you're going to blame somebody, the word you're looking for is an activist judge released this. The Democrats, they've got, stop it. Just stop it with the judge thing. There's judges on both sides. But this judge made it public. Why is she making it public? Because it is pretty shocking. I've gone through, you can go through it. I'm not going to go through it. This isn't going to turn into, can you believe what Trump did? It's not going to be that. If you want to read it, read it. But it's some pretty fucking bad shit, okay? Not just on the part of him, but also, there's a lot of people who are being named as complicit in here. You've got staffers saying things like, as the hashtag that was trending last night was "Make Them Riot." There's that. There's a Trump staffer who attempted and succeeded in starting a mini riot at the Michigan recount. And, there's a text of him telling his subordinates to make the people riot. So, I mean, it's a lot of bad stuff. Did it need to come out? So my opinion on this is yes. Yes, I think that an informed electorate who has all of the stuff in front of them before they cast their vote, all of the information, is important. Is it also a sign of potential, an activist judge who has liberal leanings? Could be. It could be. Could also be the sign of a judge who is looking at Trump the same way I am and going, this fucking guy? No. So... But here's the important thing. It's not the Department of Justice. I don't care what Jack Smith is a part of the Department of Justice. He was assigned to this by Merrick Garland. This is a Department of Justice investigation, as it should be and as it would be in any other like case. But the blame for the so-called October surprise of yesterday is not Biden's Department of Justice. The blame is squarely on this judge. Blame her and find out what she's tied to or whatever, but just stop it. And by the way, Trump knows this. Trump knows this. It's just another example of him putting misinformation out there because he believes the people who support him don't know this. So he can lie to them about it. And they will believe him because he wears a suit and has money, so therefore he must be infallible. Just a medicine show, folks. Medicine show. These guys have been coming down to the small towns and they've been selling elixirs and magic potions for hundreds of years. That's all this is. Moving on. All right, let's keep going. It's Trump troubles. I ain't going any deeper than that. You guys already know I'm above board completely. I think I don't like him. I don't like him. For not even political reasons. Just look at that dude. That dude's a douche. That's just my feelings on him. Israel Got some feelings on Israel, too. Boy, oh boy, Israel, the Middle East has moved closer to a long-feared regional war. This on Wednesday evening, as a day after Iran fired a barrage of missiles at Israel. And Israel said it began limited ground incursions into Lebanon. Okay, that's just the latest. I just read that. That's the blurb that just popped up here. Really, let's talk about what's happening in Israel. Nothing yet, unless something happened now. I don't know, something happening right now as I'm streaming. The whole world is sitting here waiting to see if Israel is going to respond. They've done some things, but they've done the things that Israel have done in the last 24 hours all seem to be things that they were already going to do before Iran launched that missile barrage against Tel Aviv and the Tel Aviv suburbs the other day. So I don't believe the bombings in Beirut that we saw earlier this morning, well, at least here, America time, and yesterday, those bombings, those airstrikes in Beirut, I don't believe that those are in response to I think that those were already in motion. Remember, there was a week of Israeli troops being built up on the Lebanon border. They had been showing signs that they were going to put ground troops into Lebanon and forward into Beirut for a week now. So I don't know that what we're seeing in Lebanon has anything directly to do with a response to what Iran did 2 days ago. That's what we're waiting on. And I seem to recall, back when I'm thinking about the Israeli response to October 7th and the response, their response when they killed the Hamas general, remember in Iran a couple of months ago, the response to that? I seem to think that those responses came a few days after the initial attack, or the reason for the response, if you will. So I don't know. So could it be like next week? You know, could it be tonight? I don't know. The world holds its breath to see what Israel is going to do. Let's see here. Byron is slamming PayPal. Why is Byron slamming PayPal? Nina. Oh, because Nina's like, get a PayPal. No, I got PayPal. I can't access it. It's fucked up. I don't know. Don't do PayPal. I will one day. I have to. You know what I have to do? I have to get a PayPal credit card apparently, in order to get the money out, because. Trust me, it's way more complicated than I'm saying right now, but it is complicated enough where I'm like, if you tip the show, tip Cash App or Venmo. Let's see. What else do we have here? Israel, we talked about Israel. Helene is still going on. Asheville, North Carolina is really bad. Tennessee is really bad. Apparently there's a story now about some factory workers in Tennessee who weren't allowed to leave and they all got trapped. That seems rough. Is Biden going there today? I know Harris was there yesterday. I know Biden is he touring the area today, or do I have that lopsided? I don't care. I don't care. It's a photo op for all of them. However, I'll say this. I will absolutely say this. This is a disaster area, and it is not uncommon for the president of the United States to tour the disaster area. It's totally normal for Joe Biden to be there. Kamala Harris is the vice president of the United States, although I think that her appearance there isn't as necessary as maybe the president. There's still a reason for her to be there. She is the sitting vice president of the United States. With that said, she's also campaigning. And it's a good look for her to be there. So, I don't know that it's necessary that she be there, but she does have claim to be there. She is the sitting vice president. Why the fuck is Trump there? Why is Trump? Trump's doing nothing but exploiting the situation. He still walks around pretending like he's president. No reason for Trump to be there. I guess Biden's going there. There's no reason for any of them to be there. I don't think there's any necessary reason. But you can understand why the actual sitting administration might go there. Not dudes running. Is RFK Jr. touring? How about Marianne Williamson? Will she be touring the disaster area? Well, he's going to be president, so maybe he'll fucking forget about this. If he gets to be president again, you think he's going to, like, his day one is going to be, all right, let's revisit the situation in Asheville. No, he's not. You dummies. All these people are just showing up at these people's misery just to exploit them one drop at a time. Just one. Reminded of that lady we watched yesterday, the lady who, the mom who had the camera shoved in her face. How does it feel to lose everything? And she's like, fuck you, bitch. Get the camera out of my face. I'm paraphrasing and probably being a little more aggressive than she was, but that was the gist of it. FEMA. Let's talk about FEMA. The Federal Emergency Management Agency can meet immediate needs, but does not have enough funding to make it through the hurricane season. This according to Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. The agency is being stretched as it works with states to assess damage from Hurricane Helene and deliver meals, water, generators, and other critical supplies. Yeah, critical supplies. And by the way, speaking of exploiting people who are in their lowest moment, so did you see what this Jake Paul idiot did? And I'm sorry, it might not be Jake Paul. It might be Logan. I refuse to make a distinction between these two idiot brothers. But apparently they own an energy drink or a hydration drink, like a Gatorade knockoff called Prime. Yeah, they did a TikTok. It got like 5 million views, and everybody's calling them Angels of Mercy because they dropped off like a pallet of Prime hydration water. Ugh. They just did it for the TikTok. How about you drop off a pallet of Prime hydration and not make a TikTok? Just give the people the stuff without... Look at how wonderful a company we are. People are so disingenuous these days, folks. I just can't. And I hate that I'm as cynical as I am. I love the anonymous donor. I'll give you an example. I love the anonymous donor. So I live in a rich neighborhood. Don't ask me how I got there, but I'm flopping there. But I'm not going to complain. I'd rather live in a rich neighborhood as someone who doesn't deserve to be there than in a poor neighborhood as someone who doesn't deserve to be there. So I walk by this school, this fancy public school, by the way. It's a public school in one of America's wealthiest zip codes. So it's a public school that's like Harvard. It's like crazy nice. And they have all of these bricks in front of the public school. All these bricks are named for families, and the families, put their messages. And it probably costs like 50 grand a brick. It's one of them bullshit things. But there are a whole bunch of bricks, not as many as I would like to see, but there are a whole bunch of bricks that simply say in support of this school. And then the donor is anonymous. Those are the fucking cool people. People who just do it and aren't looking for any kind of ego boost. Donate anonymously. Anyway, that's a holdover from my days working for charities. I was always impressed with the dude who wrote the big check, and then when you'd go to him and say, okay, so what we'd like to do is we'd like to get some video of you, and we'll make a big montage. I always appreciated when the people were like, no, just anonymous. That's classy. Not looking for anything in return, just looking to give back. Let's see here. Bank of America. Anybody got Bank of America accounts? People with Bank of America accounts were freaking out yesterday because there was some kind of glitch with the software, and apparently it zeroed out everybody's balance. Everybody. So like in the middle of this, if you were just like in the middle of your workday and you're like, I gotta go to the ATM, and you like went to the ATM, you probably got a zero balance and freaked the fuck out. Oh, the internets went nuts. It's China. It's China. They're stolen all of America's Bank of America customers' money. It's stupid. You didn't lose any money. It was just a glitch. Just a glitch. Bank of America is saying they're sorry. Bank of America fucked up. So we can move on from Bank of America. Okay, I hate Bank of America. I think I owe Bank of America money. I think one of the reasons my credit report is so bad is because Bank of America hates me. Well, fuck you. I hate you too, Dick. Let's talk about the debate. The presidential debate happened the other night, 2 nights ago. Tim Walz versus J.D. Vance. They squared up, and they were very nice to each other, and it was incredibly boring and nothing memorable. There's nothing going to be memorable. Lowest rated debate in 25 years. That's right. So lowest rated debate this century is a way to say it. Lowest rated, apparently Al Gore versus Dick Cheney, I think was lower rated, but only by a butt hair. And they're saying that there's a couple of reasons for this. One, there's just no interest in the vice presidents. I mean, this is a battle between Trump and Harris, and nobody really has any passion for either Tim Walz or J.D. Vance. So it's just like, this is a big time waster. I get that. The other reason, what was the other reason that they said? Yeah, because also it was competing against a war. Like the Israeli situation with Iran had happened earlier in the day, and cable news and other sources, people were glued to coverage of the war and not necessarily as interested in the debate. They surmised that people who would be interested in the outbreak of World War III would also probably be people who, all things being equal, would be watching the debate. But they weren't watching debate because World War. Anyway, terrible ratings. Nobody cares. I think it's more a fact that this is a cult of personality campaign between two people, two very different people, and nobody gives a shit about second in command. Nobody. Ratings reflect that. How about this? Cyber trucks. You cyber schmucks. You cyber fucks in your cyber fuck trucks. These things, man, they're so stupid. First of all, I reject the very notion of the Cybertruck. This is a bit being played on dumb people with money. This is a bit that Elon Musk is playing on dumb people with money. He probably sat around with Zuckerberg and Warren Buffett and the other cabal of billionaires. Epstein may have been there when this first came up. They were all sitting around, and he said, I bet you I can make dumb fucking dudes who make like, $250,000 a year because they own a couple tire shops. I bet you I can make them pay $200,000 for the ugliest fucking broken down piece of garbage ever. You couldn't do that. And they're all laughing, drinking their brandy. And look at this. Elon Musk did it. He made a fucking ugly vehicle. That vehicle looks like a Pontiac Aztek fucked a microwave. That's what that vehicle looks like. Cybertruck. They're ugly. No, they're cool. No, that's your ego telling you that they're cool. You don't really have a sense of style. You just know it's a Tesla. You know that there was a lot of marketing behind creating anticipation for this, and now you're seeing it, and you've been told there's only going to be a few out there, so you're going to get in line to buy one of them so that you can be that guy because you've now got the coolest car on the planet. And then, of course, you start driving around, and everybody's going, that thing's ugly. Wait. You're going to flood it. Can you flood an electric car? No, probably not. But the fucking things, they break down. They're ugly. They're made cheaply. They are made like a 2002 Chevy Cavalier. They are not. The molding is peeling off. All right. So why am I ranting so much about the cyber trucks? Well, because they've announced the fifth recall now. The fifth recall. The car's been out like 9 months. It has now been recalled 5 times. You dummies. And it's, again, this is a play for like a dude who's got not a lot of, like not a super rich guy, but the dudes who have enough money to have boats. Dude like boat dudes. I own a car dealership. I got a boat. That guy. That's who the Cybertruck is like, aimed towards. That guy. The guy who was going to buy a stupid Corvette, but now is going to spend that money on this. A 5th recall for Tesla's Cybertruck within the first year of release. It is the latest is due to a rear view display. Tesla is recalling more than 27,000 Cybertrucks because that's all of them, because the rear view camera image may not activate immediately after shifting into reverse. Do you guys have this? You guys got a rear camera? Most cars do, right? They can't even get this fucking... I drive a 2017 Chevy Malibu. It's got very low miles, but I'm driving it. It's in great shape. I drive a 2017 Chevy Malibu, and every time I go into reverse, my rear camera pops up instant, just like boop. This car was probably 27 grand when it was brand new. That thing 7 years later, man, every time I go into reverse, boop, the rear camera pops right up. If I was driving a $200,000 6-month-old Tesla Cyberfuck, that thing wouldn't turn on. It'd just be another bullshit problem. Tesla is recalling 27,000 of these rear view It is the 5th recall since last year. Tesla has released a free software upgrade to address the issue, and owner notification letters are expected to be mailed by November 27th. Cybertruck owners have had to deal with a series of recalls since the vehicle went on sale in November. Oh, so it's almost been a year now. In June, there was a recall to fix a problem with trim pieces that came loose from the front windshield wipers. So basically what this was, we saw this, there were videos going around. So the whole trim around the window, the front window, had a propensity when the wipers were going to fucking fly off on the highway, just like the molding. Why? Because it's a cheaply made piece of shit marketed to morons. That's why. All right, so that was that problem. Let's see here. I've been following all of these. We've been covering them. If you watch the show every day, we've been talking about them as they pop up. 2 months before that, some Cybertrucks were recalled because the accelerator pedal could stick. Oh, no. What's the worst that could happen if the accelerator... Come on, man. In the most recent recall, the company notified the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration that the display screens in trucks may remain blank for up to 8 seconds. The U.S. requires these screens to remain blank for no more than 2 seconds, and the 8 seconds that the Tesla screens are taking to come on violate law, and they had to be recalled. Can you imagine that? You pay this money for and you turn it on, and the fucking screen, the whole it's such a cool monitor system. It's like all, screens. It takes 8 seconds. 1, 2, black screen. Car's running, black screen. 1, 2, 3. I mean, do they at least give you the little buffering thing? Like, okay, it's coming. So you know it's coming? Cybertrucks, man. I'm telling you, dude. Look, I applaud what Elon Musk is doing with the Mars project. I do. That is interesting. If you're going to have that kind of money, that's the kind of shit you should be putting it into, not trying to like rip off dudes with an extra 200 grand laying around with your stupid electric truck. Nina says, one of my rich friends bought one of those rolling fridges. Yeah. It is a disaster of a truck, sports bra, and it's going to go down in history as the greatest automotive debacle in history. It will. It absolutely will. And they're going to discontinue it. So what's going to be funny, this is going to be funny, in like a year or two, we're going to see shitty fucking Cybertrucks rolling around. You know why? Because they're going to unload them. You're going to start to see a whole bunch of Cybertrucks at like CarMax and, places like that. And then people who would never have Cybertrucks are going to buy them, people who like run into things, and you're going to see dented and scraped and fucked up Cybertrucks rolling around on the streets for the next, I would say 10 years, but I have no way of knowing that the life of that car is going to be 10 years. I have no idea. Anyway, my friend Tanner has a Cybertruck. I love Tanner, but what are you doing, man? You could have bought a Ferrari. What? A Ferrari, something that the craftsmanship is just top notch. You know what doesn't happen on a Ferrari? The molding doesn't come off the windshield at 80 miles an hour. Ugh. Hey, how about this? Did you guys hear about this? This happened in Cancun yesterday. I like me some Cancun. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy Cancun. I enjoy the Riviera Maya. I enjoy Mexico. I really do. It's like probably my second favorite country to go to. Ireland would be number 1, but Mexico certainly number 2. Some crazy ass shit going on. And look, it used to be, we all know that there's trouble to be found. If you go to Cancun, if you go to wherever you're going, Playa, it doesn't matter. There's trouble to be found if you go looking for it. But that's why most people who go to these places, they stay in the all-inclusive resorts. And the all-inclusive resorts at this point are so cool, you don't ever have to leave. There's something to do every moment of the day, so you don't have to leave. And it used to be said, there's violence in Mexico. And like, yeah, well, don't go into town. Don't go into town and grab the ass of a senorita at some local cantina. Don't do that, and you won't find trouble. Don't drive drunk, and you won't get questioned by the local federales, who then you'd have to pay off. You can avoid it if you wanted to. Go to an expensive hotel. If you're rich and you want to go to a 5-star resort down there in Cancun, you can just eliminate all your concerns about the outside world. You're completely safe within those walls. Nope. Check this out. There was a murder at a 5-star Cancun resort yesterday, and listen to how this was done. This murder was like directed by Guy Ritchie, or maybe Michael Mann. I don't know. One of these. So there's a dude. There's this 5-star resort. Let me get you the details on this. A Mexican national was gunned down in broad daylight near a luxurious Cancun 5-star resort by 2 suspects who arrived and then fled on jet skis as tourists watched in horror. So there's a dude on the beach, and there's, it's a Cancun 5-star resort beach. So there's, chairs and there's waiters, and it's very nice. And these 2 dudes come over the horizon on jet skis. And you see them, they're getting closer and closer, and you're like, that's kind of weird. They seem to be coming right up onto the beach. Oh, well, it's Mexico. Maybe they're selling trinkets and doodads. And they roll right up on the beach in their jet skis. They hop off the jet skis. They pull guns out of a backpack, and they shoot this dude dead right there. Dude drops to the ground. Everybody flees in horror. People are running around. Moms are screaming for their kids. Noah! It's absolute pandemonium. These dudes jump back on the jet skis. Fucking yeah. That's how you do a hit in Mexico. How cool was that? Anyway, that's what happened. So, maybe if you here's what they're saying about it though. And look, I know this is convenient for the people who are staying at the resort and for those of us who enjoy nice fancy resorts down there in Mexico. They're saying that the dude that got hit was a gang leader. He was like a bad dude, and this was not civilian violence. This was like a hit. They came and they did it. They were professionals. But how about that, man? I mean, aside from the momentary fear for your life, where when these dudes jump off the jet ski and start running on the beach with guns, firing at one dude, and they're firing at him, and then he drops. I mean, in that moment, you're like, whoa, and you're running slow motion, and you're scared. But very quickly, I think you're going to be like, fucking cool, because it wasn't you. And then you immediately go, well, that guy was probably a bad guy, because those 2 seem like they're professionals. They weren't going to kill anybody on accident. They came and they killed a guy that they were paid to kill. And they did it with a panache. They did it with a savoir-faire. That is the moment that your Mexican vacation is made a lifelong story. You will tell that story forever. Never going to forget this vacation. Anyway, there you go. Let's see here. Okay, we already did that. What else do we have? Let's talk about this. Cancun jet ski murders. We talked about that. Oh, Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd has sold out. Guys, wait a second. All right. So, all right, never mind. I was like, guys, are we done with the show? Is that all that I have prepared? On a pledge week, I'm going to phone in the show. I didn't phone it in. I swear to God. I think we just moved through stuff quicker than I'd anticipated. We're not done. We got a couple other things here, though. This one I wanted to mention. Pink Floyd is making news today. Pink Floyd has sold their music catalog for $400 million. $400 million for Pink Floyd. Now, here's what you're thinking, because this is what I thought when I heard that. Is that a lot? I have no idea. I don't know what the context is. Is that a lot? Is that like, what is the most ever? Well, it's not a lot. It's not a whole lot. And as a matter of fact, there are some names. I got a whole bunch of people whose catalogs have recently sold, and you would be shocked at the people whose catalogs sold for like 2, 3, and 4 times what Pink Floyd's catalog sold for. It's weird. We'll get into that. Anyway, Pink Floyd sells their music rights to Sony for $400 million. After years of false starts, the iconic British rock band Pink Floyd has agreed to sell their recorded music and name and likeness rights to Sony Music for approximately $400 million. What should be noted here, and maybe this is the reason why it's $400 million, they did not sell the publishing rights to the songs. What they sold was the stuff they've recorded, so albums, it's like a reissue albums and all of that, but they did not sell the songs themselves, which means that if a movie wants to use Dark Side of the Moon, they then come to the people who wrote the song, which is still, so they're holding on to the publishing, and they got $400 million for everything else. Name and likeness is now something that is valuable as these record companies and entertainment businesses look to the future, simply because of the advances in AI and the ability to take bands on tour, right? The Beatles could go on tour in 10 years because of AI, and it might draw, and there's going to be money for that. And so now you buy the name and likeness of Pink Floyd. Now you can do that with Pink Floyd if you want. Yeah, once you get the technology there, Pink Floyd's The Wall tour will tour America again, and Sony will make money off of it. All right, the deal, one of the largest of many, many deals in recent years, apparently has finally concluded despite decades of ongoing infighting and bitter words between the band members. Notably, chief songwriters Roger Waters and David Gilmour. But also involved in the negotiations are drummer Nick Mason and the estates of keyboardist Richard Wright and founding singer-songwriter Roger Syd Barrett. Syd Barrett was crazy. The deal comprises recorded music rights, but not songwriting, which is held by the individual writers. So that's basically just Gilmour or Waters. While Pink Floyd was famously anonymous as personalities, presumably most, if not all, of the iconic artwork on their albums, which was largely designed by the British firm Hypnosis, is included in the Sony deal. All right, so name, likeness, the pig, the flying pig, the inflatable pink pig, and all of that stuff. So Sony bought all of that, plus all of the rights to reissue albums and all of that kind of stuff for $400 million. They did not buy the rights to the songs. They also got the name and likeness. All right, so $400 million for that. That's a lot of money. Nobody's got, even if you divide it up 4 ways, that's $100 million each. But let's look at some of the other ones, right? Because I asked, is that a lot of money? Pink Floyd sold on October of 2024. Okay, so that was yesterday. Okay, so that's this one. Pink Floyd, $400 million. Sony Music acquired recorded music catalog, name, image, and likeness rights. Did not acquire songwriting for $400 million. All right, so there you go. That's that one. In July, just a couple of months ago, Primary Wave Entertainment paid $1.28 billion. Remember, Pink Floyd yesterday, they kept the song rights, but they sold everything else. Pink Floyd to Sony Music, $400 million. In July, $1.278 billion. 1.28 billion in July. That was to Primary Wave. Do you know whose music that was? Pink Floyd got 400. Do you know whose music got 1.27 billion from Primary Wave? The estate of Rick Ocasek. The Cars. The guy, he didn't even write them all. Benjamin Orr wrote a whole bunch of Cars songs. The estate of Rick Ocasek from the Cars got $1.27 billion in July. Now, here's what they sold. They sold the entire music catalog, including the Cars and his solo stuff. They also sold the Rick Ocasek Cars name, image, and likeness rights for $1.27. That is almost 3 times what Sony paid yesterday for Pink Floyd. Wow. All right, how about this one? Tom Petty. Tom Petty's estate sold to Warner Chaparral just a couple of months ago. $1.2 billion. Tom Petty's estate sold Tom Petty's music and catalog, entire music catalog with the Heartbreakers and his solo. That includes the music publishing rights. So it seems to me the people who are getting the $1 billion plus payouts when they sell their music are the ones who are including the publishing rights on songs. Back in, when was this? A couple months ago, it looks like it was from this year. Queen sold to Sony Music Publishing. Queen sold for $1.2 billion. Rick Ocasek's catalog went for more than Queen's catalog by $700 million, by almost 2 Pink Floyds. That's crazy. This is crazy. All right, how about this one? $1 billion. Sony Music Publishing paid $1 billion for past and future song rights to somebody named Kevin Parker. Can you guys tell me who Kevin Parker is? Because Sony gave him $1 billion. It says Kevin Parker, and then in parentheses, Tame Impala. I don't know what that is. All right, how about $800 million in April of 2024? Primary Wave. Primary Wave are the people who seriously, I think, overpaid for Rick Ocasek. Primary Wave back in April. 800. Primary Wave paid $800 million. Where is Primary Wave getting all? Primary Wave is now accounted for almost $3 billion. Where are they getting this? Primary Wave in April of this year. Is that eight or is that it's 800 million to Neil Finn? Neil Finn made $800 million. Crowded House. Something so strong. Does that include like Split Ends music and stuff? He was in a number of Australian bands. But Neil Finn, $800 million. Holy shit. Kiss sold for $300 million. Apparently they don't think... Apparently, Sony Music Group doesn't think Kiss is going to be all that relevant much longer. $600 million. Cyndi Lauper, $500 million. Pop House, $500 million. Remember, Pink Floyd sold yesterday. Now, Pink Floyd didn't give the publishing rights to their music, but Pink Floyd sold their music catalog and their name and image and likeness rights for $400 million. Cyndi Lauper, $500 million back in February of this year. Rod Stewart was paid by the Iconic Artists Group's only $100 million for master recordings, publishing, and certain name and likeness rights. Only $100 million for Rod Stewart? I would love to know what the business metric is here. Why are they giving someone named Kevin Parker like $1 billion and Rod Stewart is only getting $100 million? Enrique Iglesias, in December of 2023, he signed what is only being described as a 9-figure deal. Christine McVie, one of the spares. She's not a spare. She is not a spare of Fleetwood Mac, but she was not Stevie Nicks or Mick Fleetwood or Lindsey Buckingham or John McVie. She was the next one. Christine McVie, $400 million. $400 million from Harborview Music. Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo, back in October of 23, they were given $500 million by Harborview as well. Graham Nash got $500 million from Iconic Music Group. Joe Walsh got $500 million from Reservoir Media. Katy Perry has been paid $225 million for master recordings and publishing rights on 5 of her albums from Litmus Music. And then Cher is undisclosed. Paul Simon is undisclosed. And yeah, there you go. Anyway, wow. See, the future, man, these bands are never going to die. The bands are never going to die. You're going to let AI use their name, image, and likeness and create the band in some kind of artificial form, and they're going to write new music in the vein of the music they've written before, and it's going to be horrible. Pink Floyd sells out for $400 million, and I got to be honest with you, it seems to be a bit underpaid. What else do we have here? How about, 81-year-old woman in Korea. Did you see this? An 81-year-old woman was a runner-up, or not a runner-up, but she was in the running to become a contestant for Miss Universe. And of course, she didn't make it because she's 81. What are you, crazy? Yeah, it's nice to be inclusive, I guess, but that 81-year-old woman had no right being up on stage with a bunch of 22-year-olds who are trying to be Miss Universe. Let's take a look at her. She didn't win. What a surprise. Here. But it's a story and it's going around and people are talking about it, so here we are. All right, let's get a look at her. There she is. All right, look at her. That's, hold on. I know you guys can't see her yet. Hold on. Well, let me X out of that damn ad. Here we go. All right, there she is. 81-year-old delusional woman tries to compete in the Miss Universe pageant. Look at her. Look at her. Not great. All right, let's see what happened. I got any other pictures of her? All right, there she is on stage. Look at her. Look at these other. She's stupid. This is dumb. She only started modeling when she was like 60 something, I believe the story said. And I mean, this is like everybody gets a trophy, right? Isn't it cute? The old lady thinks she could be a Miss Universe. Let's let her try, but she can't win, right? With all due respect, she's a great looking woman. She's 81 years old. She's very proud of the way she looks. Look at her. But she still looks like her grandma. She still looks like an 81-year-old woman. At her best, she looks like a 70-year-old woman. I mean, she's a very good for her. Also, they changed the rules for her. This particular event had always had a bikini contest, but this year, nope, they didn't. Not in Korea. They got rid of the bikini contest because grandma's involved. There she is. All right, there you go. That's all I don't know. There's not a whole lot that we should we can say about that other than it's interesting. 81-year-old woman. God, it's so hot in here, you guys. The air conditioning at the E-Gallery is not working, and it's I don't know what it is outside, but it is absurdly hot. And for the last 2 days, I've been fighting through this, sweating like a pig-o. Let me see. What is it currently outside? When is it not going to be in the 90s? It's 92. There you go. 92 degrees here in Dallas's design district. When is it not going to be in the 90s? It's freaking October. I would like to stop having to rely on air conditioning, but my God. All right, what's this last story that we got here? I don't even want to do this. The 10 most sober states. Okay, is this something you're interested in? All right, maybe. Let's go through this. 10 states where people drink the least. This is always just an opportunity for me to shit on other places. So, we'll do it that way. All right, let's see. It's a slideshow. All right, number 10, South Carolina is the 10th most sober state. I'm trying to think of what I think of when I think of South Carolina. Charleston's really pretty. All right, the number 9, Nebraska. I'm shocked at Nebraska. I would assume that all of these rural states where there is absolutely fuck all to do would be the states where they drink the most. Ohio's not a big drinking state. Alabama. Again, I don't know what makes these states. This is a dumb. What's the least sober state? Let me see, or the most sober state. Here we go. 2 is West. Well, Utah, of course. Utah. Big surprise there. Okay. That was a bad story. See, that was a bad story. I shouldn't have even wasted my time, but I'm panicking now because I can't believe I've run out of stories and it's 1:41. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Aaron Hernandez, okay? Is anybody watching this? I'm 4 episodes in. I think only 4 are what's available, so I binged them over the last couple of days. This is the Ryan Murphy American Sports Story anthology series that he has launched on Netflix. He's got American Horror Story, which is an anthology series, but this one seems to be about sports. I don't think of him as being, necessarily a sports guy. And after watching the first 4 episodes of this, he's not. Like, it's really bad sports. It's like there are all these football scenes because obviously Aaron Hernandez was a very talented football player. And there's a lot of replicated football scenes that just come off as cheesy and oh my God, he's running so slow. Why are they pretending he's running fast? He is running so slow, and just, weird catches and fake tackles. So that's a little distracting if you like football. It's like if dudes who never watched football tried to make a football movie. That's kind of what it feels like. But what is interesting is the dramatization of the stuff that we maybe already knew about Aaron Hernandez if we had watched any of the documentaries or the 30 for 30 or all that stuff. It is interesting to now see the actual dramatization. The person who is playing Aaron Hernandez sucks. This person doesn't look a thing like Aaron Hernandez. Can I be honest about Aaron Hernandez? I ain't gay, but Aaron Hernandez was. But I ain't gay. Aaron Hernandez was hot. Aaron Hernandez was a hot dude. I mean, I can totally see why. I mean, he was huge. He was muscular. He had smile. He had dimples. He was just he was a fucking idiot, though. That we learned that from the documentaries. But they got this guy playing him, and I don't know. I'm just not buying this dude as Aaron Hernandez. Also, I'm kind of getting I'm getting eked out because I know what Aaron Hernandez was. Aaron Hernandez is maybe some of you don't. Who wouldn't? Aaron Hernandez was a very, very talented tight end in the National Football League. He played opposite Rob Gronkowski in what became the standard for a 12 personnel look in the NFL, 2 tight ends. Belichick did that. They had Hernandez and they had Gronk. And then, Gronk would go on to be one of the great tight ends of all time. But they might have mirrored each other had Aaron Hernandez not murdered a bunch of people. Yeah, so Aaron Hernandez was a murderer. He was like pretending to be a gangbanger, and he was getting involved in all kinds of shit that he had no business being involved in. Anyway, there are some fun things. The depiction of Urban Meyer in the Aaron Hernandez, Ryan Murphy TV special is laughable. Urban Meyer is not a good person. He's a football coach. He's a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit as a human being who shrouds himself in, going to, Christian evangelical meetings and talking about Jesus and all, but not giving a fuck about anything but winning and fuck his kids and all of that shit. Urban Meyer is a very good football coach and an absolute piece of shit as a human being. It's why he's unemployable. Other than on TV. Is he still on TV? Nobody's going to hire him to run their organization again because he's a duplicitous piece of shit. But I think he does pretty good on TV. I want to be fair about it. Saban is the one who I like. Saban, I also think, is a piece of shit. But Saban is, I know, good on TV. I don't know if Urban Meyer is. Maybe he's not. Point is this. They play Urban Meyer in this like a total piece of shit. But also, and this is what I'm enjoying, the guy who's portraying Urban Meyer is also kind of portraying him as a bit of a bumbler, like as a bit of I don't know what I'm doing, like as a not the man's man, leader of men, that Urban Meyer probably likes to think of himself as. So they're kind of making him out to be kind of a D-bag. They're certainly making him out to be a guy who just puts winning before all else and is kind of phony about how much he loves his players and all that, because he doesn't. He's Urban Meyer. And they also depict the health problems that Urban Meyer went through that led to him walking away from Florida. And then didn't he immediately go, he's like, I can't do this anymore. I've got heart problems. And then he signs with Ohio State. Yeah. And then Ohio State, I can't do it anymore. I'm going to dedicate my time to my family. And then he went down to Jacksonville and shit the bed down there. Anyway, he's a garbage person. So that's fun. I'm enjoying the depiction of Urban Meyer. But I'm really enjoying the depiction of both Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick. The dude they got to play Bill Belichick, I like better than Bill Belichick. The guy that is playing Bill Belichick has the Bill Belichick vibe down. So the first time we see him is on draft night. They're in the 4th round, and the Patriots are trying to decide on what they're going to do, and all of the scouts are saying that they ought to go with this offensive lineman and all of this, but then they see Aaron Hernandez there, and Aaron Hernandez, by the way, should have been a first-round pick. But he'd gotten in so much trouble in Florida that most teams considered him toxic, so he had dropped all the way down to the 4th round. And it comes to the 4th round, and Bill Belichick is like, what about this Hernandez guy? And Bill Belichick, he looks dirty. He looks slovenly. His hair is messed up. He's wearing that gray Patriots hoodie. Like everybody else in the draft room is wearing suits and shit, except for the dude playing Belichick. And he's like, what about Hernandez? And then they try and talk him out of it. And then he's like, yeah, but he's the best player available. And they're like, but you already drafted Gronk, because they drafted Gronk in the same year. I think, did Gronk go in the 1st round? And then 4 rounds later, they took Aaron Hernandez. Anyway, the portrayal of Bill Belichick is really funny. I like that guy. And Robert Kraft, too. Robert Kraft is funny. What else do I need to mention about it? Anything? A lot of, very gay. Ryan Murphy's got him portrayed as very gay. There's a lot of makeouts. A lot serious. His most serious relationship was probably with his college or his high school quarterback. Oh, I wanted to talk about Tim Tebow, too. The portrayal of Tim Tebow. Patrick Schwarzenegger. Arnold's kid, Maria Shriver's kid. He's playing Tim Tebow. they're playing Tim Tebow as a cartoon, right? I mean, this is I can't imagine Tim Tebow is actually like this, but they leaned heavily into Tim Tebow thinks he's Jesus, and everything is like, oh, praise God. And you know what? Tim Tebow tried to fix Aaron Hernandez by making him come to like his youth group. He's like, come on, we'll praise Jesus together and you won't no longer want to kill people. That kind of thing. Sports Bras. Chris says Urban is a piece of shit. He's on Fox College pregame. And when we went to TCU versus Colorado last year, they were all cool and shaking hands except Urban Meyer. Yeah, Urban Meyer's a dick. He's an asshole. He's an asshole. Mama B says Bible Belt does not allow alcohol in many churches. I don't know of any churches that allow alcohol. I mean, Catholic churches have alcohol. They got wine, and then there's, you want to do a fundraiser or something at the Catholic church, you can do beer and shit, so that's not a problem. But I don't know of any, I don't know of what I call the secondary evangelical Christian churches. They're not real churches. If you've got carpeting and a long-haired dude playing guitar, you're not a real church. Never had them. Just sorry. Those are my rules. They don't have alcohol. They don't have any alcohol. It's too bad. It's too bad. Like a place here in Texas, like Prestonwood Bible, man, if they sold beer on Saturdays and Sundays for their services, they could sell more beer than the American Airlines Center. They would sell more beer than the stadiums. It's tempting for them. They're like, oh, Jesus, give me the strength to avoid selling beer during church. All right, Chris. Chris is like, let the chat room choose the topic. That's fine. All right, go ahead. You guys choose the topic that I'll rant on. We'll do that because we're trying to fill time. We got at least 10 minutes. I'll you guys at least 10 minutes. It's so hot. Although I don't think anybody is tipped. Hit the Venmo. Hit the Cash App if you can. That would be great. Help the show out. All right, go ahead. So we'll wait. Topics. Great idea, Chris. This is working out great. Chris is like, we should let the people in the chat room ask questions. Let the people in the chat room. Great idea. Adam says, let's talk about the Freakonomics podcast. Okay. For lack of any subjects, Adam is listening to the Freakonomics podcast. There you go. That's all I got on it. Let's see here. Yeah, April, there you go. No JV football tonight. Yeah, right? I'm so angry. So here's the thing. So on the schedule, everybody knows Thursday nights is high school football night for me and my son who plays junior varsity here in Texas. Normally we have games. We do not have a game tonight. It was on the schedule all season long as open. So I was like, okay, so what's that going to happen? And over the weekend, my kid goes, I go, what game is this weekend? He goes, I don't know. I think we're playing it's open, so it's not going to count because we have a district bye, but it's with some Catholic school we're going to play, and I'll let you know about it. So he never let me know about it. And so last night, because I look forward to my Thursday games, so last night, Wednesday night, I go on the page, the football scheduling page, and I see that it still says open with no mention of who they're playing or where they're playing, but now they've changed the date. And apparently the open date was scheduled for last night against a team that they didn't have listed at a place they weren't promoting. It is so messed up. It is so no, there's no game this week apparently. Talk to my kid. I'm like, dude, what's going on? Why is the schedule saying there's a game tonight? I got like an hour to get to a game, and why are you answering your phone like an hour before the game? He's like, there's no game tonight. Well, it says on the schedule that the game has been moved from tomorrow night to tonight. He's like, that's not true. I'm like, okay, so what's the game tomorrow night? And he goes, I don't know. I'll let you know. I'm like, well, dude, you got to let me know. And so now I'm checking the schedule. So here's the long story short. I don't think there's a game tonight, but I might have to drop everything at like 4 o'clock and just like head up north somewhere to watch a game. Or I'm going to miss this fucking game, which kills me. I don't like to miss the games. I really look forward to them. So I don't know. I'm very anxious about this. So thank you for bringing that up, April. I'm very anxious about, is there a game? Because next week is the district bye. So are you telling me that there are going to be 2 consecutive weeks where there is no game? Because I know next week there is no game. It's the middle point district bye. Everybody gets a break. And this week was open, and there was no game scheduled. And then the game that was scheduled was on a different day than when the games are normally scheduled, and they didn't tell anybody. Sports Bros has a question. We're doing open chat room questions. Thank you, April. So no JV football tonight. Peter says, what the F did I miss? Pugs has nothing to say. I had to leave for the last hour. I ran out of show, man. I did too much stuff. I did too much stuff too quickly. I was too concise today. Sports Bros says, most overrated rock band. I'll start. Pearl Jam. Yeah, well, you're done. That's wrong. Most overrated rock band is Pearl Jam? Really? Good Lord. Like a million rock bands. And by what is overrated, that's subjective. Like what, because that really comes down to how you actually rate them or what your perception of their rating is, which could be different than everybody else. But I'll tell you what, I'll play this game. Dave fucking Matthews. There you go. That's the most overrated band of all time. Here's another one for you that is also in the van of Dave Matthews, in the vein of Dave Matthews. Yeah, no, this is it. I've got a new one. Okay. Most overrated band of all time. Are you ready? The Grateful Dead. Grateful Dead are the most overrated band of all time. Number 2 is Dave Matthews. Number 3 is Fish. Are you sensing a theme here? Yeah, I fucking hate jam bands. I hate jam bands. They're the worst. I'm a power pop guy, verse, chorus, verse. Give me verse, chorus, verse. Move me with some lyrics. Shake me with your rhythms and get on to the next fucking song, okay? I don't need... Now we're going to bring out Yancey and he's going to play the flute for 20 minutes. Don't fucking do that to me. Don't do that to me. I got to work in the morning. Let's go. Play the hits. A little stage banter is fine. I hate jam bands. So that would be my thing, jam bands. Jeff Ballard says Nirvana is most overrated. I think we've seen enough of these comments from Jeff that we know that he's probably slightly retarded. So I'm not going to take the bait on that. Jeff thinking that Nirvana... They only changed the entire genre. They only reshaped the record industry. They only moved the entire recording industry away from fucking dudes with teased hair and makeup into a whole different kind of thing, a more artistic thing. But yeah, you're right, Jeff. Overrated. See, I can get going. Let's see. You guys talking about Diddy? Al says Radiohead is overrated. Possibly. That's possible. That's a conversation that I can dig into with you. I love Radiohead, but when I hear people talking about Radiohead, sometimes I'm like, we talking about the same band? OK Computer was not that great. As a matter of fact, OK Computer was weird. For like the first 2 years, I remember when I was working in alternative radio and we got advanced copies of OK Computer, which was supposed to be the album that changed it. So I remember listening to it, and I remember hating it on first listen. I remember being like, I hate this garbage. But it grew on me over time. The Bends, I think, is better than isn't though. Isn't. Here's what I'll say about Radiohead. They got a couple of songs that are just all-timers. And then they've got a whole bunch of stuff that a bunch of pretentious music people think is great. There you go. There you go. They got 3 all-timers. Fake Plastic Trees, man. That's a good song. All right, so there you go. That's Radiohead. Adam says, OK Computer is one of the best albums of the 90s because he is programmed to say stuff like that. Al says, that's the way I feel about Dave Matthews. I think they're a better band than you think. It takes talent to play solos. All right, fair argument, Al. Fair argument. He don't like me. Dave Matthews sings like Eeyore the donkey. I don't like Dave Matthews. He dumped poop on people in Chicago. I'll never forget that. He's an enemy to the people of the 312. Al says, I think you're totally wrong about Dave Matthews. That's fair. I've been totally wrong about many things, my guy. And again, we're talking about music, which is why I think it's fun to have really serious and committed hot takes on music, because there is absolutely nothing more subjective than how one person takes in music. That's a you thing. So when I come really hard on it and then people defend me or defend the position, you're wrong. I'm like, yep, probably, according to you, because we are talking about something that's subjective. But yeah, I get it. And I don't hate people. Oh, wow. Kevin Barber coming with something from yesterday. Beatdown songs. He's bringing back the beatdown song. Beatdown songs we talked about yesterday. Just songs that, like, every time you hear them, you're like, Kevin is slamming like one of my favorite bands of all time. You want to talk about underrated bands? 10cc, man, they were awesome. I'm Not in Love. I think that's a cool song, man. Big boys don't cry. Big boys don't cry. I'm not in love, so don't forget it. But, you know, I am an admiral in the Lake Louisville Yacht Rock Armada. So 10cc is a big yacht rock band. I love me some 10cc. I don't think that's a beatdown song. Kevin does also offer more beatdown songs. He says Baker Street. Yeah, that song. That song sucks. That's like a beatdown song. Although, wait, I should have finished. He says beatdown song Baker Street. Although great, it's about longing for something better. I don't know. Okay. So Kevin misunderstood beatdown, my use of beatdown. When I say a song is a beatdown song, I do not mean that it's sad. I mean that it's just like you hear it and it's just, you don't want, well, maybe it being sad is a component, but overall it's just like, ugh. Like Paradise by the Dashboard Lights. That's not a sad song, but it's a beatdown. You know, Hotel California. That's not a sad song, but as Byron suggested yesterday, it's kind of a beatdown because it just goes on forever. Al Gamboa, he's offering Pet Shop Boys, West End Girls as a beatdown song. West End Girls. Ba-dum-ba-dum-boom. Yeah, maybe. Sports Bra wants to know, is Genesis overrated? Yeah, I think they are very overrated. I think Genesis is a good band, but man, I know people who just think that Genesis is like the world's greatest thing. And I don't know. They're okay. Come on, let's be honest. They got like 3 or 4 really good songs, and then they got a bunch of songs from the 1980s that seemed like they could be in movies, and that's it. Like that, you know, what's the song? I can feel it calling in the air tonight. That's probably what? Would that be their staple song? That's timeless. That's important. You know, if you put that song out, you're the band that did that song. You deserve some sort of lasting. So, I mean, I don't know. I just don't think Genesis is like one of the great bands of all time. They did a lot of shit. They did a lot of shit, like especially with Peter Gabriel early on, where it was all just prog rock nonsense. You know, like the lamb lies on Broadway. And so, no, fuck you, man. I don't need to listen to your 12-minute BS. Oh, the light is getting to me. But also, there are some cool Genesis songs. Here's the real question: is Phil Collins better than Genesis? I believe yes. I believe that Phil Collins is better than Genesis. I would argue that Sussudio, although potentially a beatdown song in some people's mind, not in mine, Sussudio is a better song than any song Genesis ever did. I might also offer that Sledgehammer from Peter Gabriel is a better song than anything Genesis has ever done. I might offer that Sledgehammer is a better song than anything Phil Collins ever did. Sledgehammer's good. I rediscovered Peter Gabriel's greatest hits a couple of months back, and I was just like, man, you know, Sledgehammer is a good song. This is a really good song. Let's see. Yeah, Peter mentions the Crash Test Dummy song as a beatdown song. I think I probably told this story as it was a funny moment, and I try to share all these funny moments. But I played that song for my kid, the Crash Test Dummy song. You know, it's all about kids with deformities and fucked up. It's like the saddest, most song ever. And I think we were in the car, and I don't think that's a song that I would have sought or, you know, dialed up. I think it maybe just came randomly next on some, like, you know, playlist that I was going through. And it came on, and I wasn't really thinking anything of it. And we're driving, and I'm looking sort of peripherally at my kid, and my kid listens to lyrics. I love that about him. It's like the first thing that he does when he hears a song that he doesn't recognize. He just kind of tries to hone in on what the story is and see if the story gets him. And I'm looking at him, and I can tell he's being effective. And I turn to him, and I go, "What?" And the Crash Test Dummy song is playing. I go, "What?" And he goes, "This is the saddest goddamn song ever." And I go, "It is, right? It really is." And he's like, "I don't want to listen to this song." I'm like, "Okay." So we skipped over it. But that was just a couple of months ago with the Crash Test Dummies. Once there was a boy who had 90% burns over his body, but went to school and got made fun of by everyone. I mean, it's like the worst story. Everything is sad. Once there was a girl who had a giant horn growing out of her face, and everybody picked on her. Song. That's a sad song. Nina says Peter Gabriel leaving Genesis was the right move. Kevin says, for me, We Built This City is a beatdown song because the school bully loves singing it. Shout out Rick Suchaki, right? Isn't that who it was? Was that Rick Suchaki? Kevin and I went to high school together. Was that Rick Suchaki? Bob May or Jim Kramer? I would say Rick Suchaki is probably who it is that you're talking about. Yeah, well, that is I do not put We Built This City by Starship in any kind of most overrated or beatdown song category or whatever, because that song is important in the history of music. That song, We Built This City, to me anyway, is one of the most important songs ever written, because that is We Built This City by Starship, the absolute worst song that has ever been written. It is the dumbest, most obvious. Here's the real insidious thing about the song We Built This City. Have you ever listened to the lyrics? The lyrics of We Built This City are all about how the record industry has destroyed rock music by creating this artificial, manufactured, commercial, corporate pop sound. That's what the song is railing against. And that is also entirely what that song is. Do you know the entire Jefferson Airplane band, like half of the people with talent that were around in the early days of Jefferson Airplane, and Jefferson Airplane is a really cool band. And even Jefferson Starship after Jefferson Airplane, really cool band. They had to name themselves Starship on that album for We Built This City because half the band was like, this is fucking garbage and we can't be associated with it. But Grace Slick, she was all like, drugged out and like, money, money, money. And so she just took the money. But yeah, that is an important song. I could do an entire podcast on that song. I have looked into the research. Have you ever seen the behind the music on Jefferson Starship? The stuff where they're in the studio recording that album is just awesome. The band was at each other's throats. They're like, we can't do this. This song is terrible. And guess what happened? It went to number one. Was released, went to number one. The people who stuck around got riches, and they produced one of the biggest garbage songs of all time. Mikey D agrees with me that 10cc was greatness. 10cc is badass. Oh my God, I love that band. 10cc is so good. Like, they got a couple of hits, and like a couple of their hits are like what somebody mentioned, I'm not in love. That one, but they got other hits too. Dreadlock Holiday is like, that's like one of the great party songs of all time. That song is incredible. What's the other? Things We Do for Love? Oh my God. A pop masterpiece. The things we do for love. The things we do for love. Like walking in the... That is a pop song masterpiece. But left to their own devices, the 10cc guys, they're pretty great. Godley and Cream, if you will. They ditched the other 10ccers and made an album of their own, which I don't remember if it was successful or not, but 10cc, very cool. Peter says, I can't believe Starship is still touring. Mickey, what's-his-face, Hart, is the only one left, I think. They have a Grace Slick sound-alike now. Is Grace Slick dead? Who's dead? Cantner's dead? Like, the important people are dead. All of the important people from Jefferson Starship, all the people that were around when they were doing White Rabbit and Don't You Want Somebody to Love, all the cool shit. Even Jane, man. Jane is such a badass song from Jefferson Starship. Love that song. They're cool, man. They're cool. I like Jefferson Airplane. I like Jefferson Starship, and then Starship just shit the bed. They're just the worst. They were all drug addicts. All right, we've gone 11 minutes over. Thank you so much, folks. One more time, a big shout out for our executive producer of today's show. Who is going to be tomorrow's executive producer? It is a pledge week. We need to raise just about $200. So whatever you can do, if you can drop a little something, keep this kind of talk radio alive, non-political, all lifestyle, normal guy doing normal talk for normal people every day right here at noon from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E Gallery. I am Pugs Moran. We are Radio Misfits. RadioMisfits.com. Thank you so much to Byron. Also, if you want to help out, I'll put that up one more time. Not that it hasn't been scrolling under there all day. I love you guys. Be well. We'll see you back here tomorrow. We'll end the week tomorrow. See you at noon. Bye. I can't believe this, but I almost have to come in here just to slap the snot out of Chris. Bruce Springsteen is overrated. Wow, that one hurts.